Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Instructor Insights session. And today, everyone knows I'm really bad with names, but I have no problem with your name, Des. I am here with Des O'Connor. How can anyone forget that one? It's awesome. So, and you trade off it so well, and such a likeness that who would
Brilliant.
forget? So,
Brilliant.
so, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to having a chat about AI. I have my own views and my own reputation with it. But yeah, I'm interested to see what you've got to say. But just to let everyone know that we're going to talk about the event that you've got going on at the end of things. So stay tuned for that. But
Don't go nowhere.
before that, we're going to have a chat. We're going to have a chat.
Yeah.
So tell us about you and what you do.
So great to have me on board, Chris. I really appreciate that. And hi, everybody. Hope you're all well. So basically, I launched AI, one of the projects I've run, but I launched AI for driving instructors last year. And over the years previously, I used to, for those of you that may not know me, I used to be an ADI many years ago from about 1998 to about 2010, 15, something like that. So I was on board at a successful school in London, in South London, Des O'Connor's driving school, and it went really, really well. Had about 20 instructors on board, and yeah, so I understand the industry, and I left it around about 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago, and I moved into the entrepreneurial space, speaking all over the world about marketing, branding, etc. And I launched my AI consultancy, Des O'Connor AI 2024. I had a big event, had about 300 people coming along because I didn't really know what it was. There was this buzzword going around 2022, 23, Chris, and I didn't know, when you hear, it's a bit like, when COVID was about and there was that Clubhouse thing that was going around. Do you remember?
Yes.
And everybody was jumping on Clubhouse and
If
I
you could
didn't.
get an invite, it was only if you could get an invite.
Yeah, well, I haven't got any friends, so I didn't get an invite. So, and back then it was just this buzzword, and I thought, well, if it's that good, it will stay after COVID goes, and obviously it's gone, right? And
Yeah.
and I thought this AI thing may be like that. When you get a bit ignorant when you hear things and you don't really check it out, and you have your assumptions that it's this, and then you realize it's still there and it's still there, and it just by chance, what happened was that I had some staff working for me, and one of them was Diana, and she used to do a lot of my writing, my copywriting for all my content. And I said to her, um, "Why don't you check out this AI stuff? Because it seems to be apparently it can help you do a lot." And she was one of the ones that didn't like AI and didn't understand it and didn't want to get involved with it. I asked her about 5 times. The sixth time, I thought, let me check it out myself. And this was in 2024. This was like early 2024. Chris, oh my God, mate. Like I knew, I mean, when I set up my driving school, I was one of the first driving instructors to have a website.
I know because I think I looked at yours because you're fairly local to where I am when I was
Yeah.
setting
Oh,
up my
you
website.
remember?
And I remember looking at it because I went, "What's he doing, calling himself Des O'Connor?" And then realised it was actually your name. So,
Wow.
so yeah, no, I remember it was one of the ones that I looked at when I was setting up
Wow.
my own
And
driving school.
that's the first time he's ever told me that.
Yeah,
One of
yeah.
my silent stalkers locally. So yeah, that was great. And then what happened was the key thing that I did for my business, Chris, was on most driving schools, even the big guys, right?
Hmm.
They have their cone and they have their name and their number. Usually that's what they do. Some of them have their name bigger than the number, which just doesn't make sense to me because the pupils they want to get the number to call you. They're not interested in the name. You could be called John Smith. They don't care. They just want to be able to get the number. Anyway, and I thought, how can I do things differently? The internet's just come about. How can I maximize on that? So I just put desoconnors.com on the top and the number
Yeah.
underneath that. So it was obvious because the Des O'Connor back then had the logo. So it was the grey and the blue O. That was Des O'Connor's and it was .com. And because of that, people were using the internet, and I was getting inundated with inquiries, and it was just manic. I had to get about 10 ADIs to join me that year because it was just, and why? Because people were going to the website and booking lessons and stuff. So what happened then, when I set up my AI consultancy, I thought, because I've always looked to see what's going on in the industry. I've seen there's people that have been coming and going. There's people that have been coming to try and rip off the industry, and the list goes on. And I know the ADI industry very protective as well, looking
Yeah,
after. Yeah.
yeah,
So
absolutely. If you haven't got a green badge, you ain't coming in.
yeah, coming in. So I just did a little research. I thought, well, who's helping the ADI space? And nobody. And I did a lot of research for about 3 months last year. And not even in the UK, Chris, globally, there was nobody, actually, there's nobody really helping instructors in the UK with their marketing and branding, but properly. And that's what I did when I held an event I was talking to you about Steve Garrett and
Mm.
Mike Frisbee from the DIA and the DIA and DSA back then. We had a workshop under DIBC, Driving Instructor Business Coaching, but there was nobody doing it. And then that stopped for whatever reason. And then when I looked at, well, who's helping instructors with the marketing now? There's nobody. Who's helping them with AI? Nobody. So I did the research, and then I looked at some domain names, got the logo, and then from then I spoke at last year in March. I spoke at the Intelligent Instructor and ADI and JC event, and then there was another one in September at the national conference. And then since then, I've been helping. Oh, there were so many problems with driving instructors are encountering in their business, and the things that AI can do. Most of them, it can help them. And one of the things that I realized was that not just in the ADI industry, but internationally, people are aware of it. They're either scared of it, or they're just sitting on the fence, or they're just running with it, like the equivalent of myself. And there's a lot of instructors that I've noticed are very petrified of it. And in any industry, when there's a change and it's linked to technology, people shut down even more. Even with the maturer person that is just set in their ways. They just get in the car. They're excellent instructors at grade A, equivalent of grade 6 before, and they're excellent at what they do. They get a lot of pupils. They get a lot of referrals, and you get into your comfort zone. But things are changing now, Chris. Like, the things that you can do with it now. So what I do is I help instructors with first of all understanding AI, understanding it's not the internet, and it's not like a little app that you can just dabble in and out with it as well. And there's so much that it can do to help you and add value, save you time, make your life a lot more easier, and generate more pupils for you and make you more money as well.
So, what's the biggest misconception that you think ADIs have got, and how do you correct that? What do they need to know?
Well, number one, it's not technical really at all. Okay. If you can use your WhatsApp, which we all can, if you can send emails, which you can, if you can read, if you can listen, if you cannot listen, you've all taken your part 2 and 3, right? And you had to communicate, you had to read, you had to research. So it's not, the perception is, and I think I'm talking from what I said in the beginning, Chris, like I felt it was just it was too technical. It's AI stuff. And that is because of the perception, because most things you see related to AI is a robot, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what the industry is saying to everybody is technical. It's technical and it's advanced. And unfortunately, I mean, I go to a lot of trainings and I watch a lot of content. The people that are at the top, the high-end techie people that talks about the complicated stuff at the top that we don't need to know about, they make it more complicated because they talk in their language. Okay.
Mhm.
And think about you're giving your first driving lesson to a pupil and you're talking about how they can approach a motorway. You'd lose them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the interesting thing for me as someone who I've used AI fairly heavily. I also think we cause a problem by saying AI all the time because there's so many variations now. It's
Mm,
just, it's just a type of engagement, isn't it? It's an automation level of some kind, and that can be anything from, it tells you the top 10 things. It's just a really, really simple version of it. It takes your information and it draws from it, or it does a load of stuff for you in an automated way. So I think AI is a dangerous term because of the misconception. But I was thinking about how it's beautiful for instructors because what are we good at when we're in the car? Driving isn't the number one priority. The communication is, right? That
mm.
engagement. AI, you can talk to ChatGPT is the one that I use. You can actually have a conversation. It can clarify your thoughts. It can do all of that stuff. So it is actually made for us because of our skill set. We should be, you know, exceptional users of it because
Yeah.
it taps into exactly what we do and how we communicate, and that's what for me, made it really. It's slightly sad because you end up with another best friend that doesn't exist, and I've had enough of those in my life. Um, and but my chat GPT is called Al because it was "Call Me Al," the song, and it's AI when it's written down looks like Al, and
Yeah.
that amused me. So I will have whole conversations with him.
Yeah.
Um,
All the time.
yeah.
Yeah. And ask back to your original question. This is what I do with instructors. Every time I work with them, when I run workshops or coach them on a one-on-one basis, I say to them, get a blank sheet of paper, okay? Get a pen and write down all the challenges that you're having in your business. And if you want to put your personal life as well, write down everything. So, for example, you need a website, you don't understand social media, you need to take online payments, but you don't know how to set it up, you don't know how to do the marketing. You want more, you want to leave your franchise and set up your own school. Or if you have your own school, you want to add more instructors on board, but you don't know how to go about it. If you've got 10 plus instructors, how do you make that 20 in 12 months? All of that, all the challenges that you are having specifically, write them all down. You can even write them down on a sheet of paper. Take a screenshot of that sheet of paper.
It's called a photograph. I know that you live in this IT world now. It's
Yeah.
called a photo. You can still get film for cameras, but generally speaking, it's
Take a
digital.
picture of your phone of the sheet that you've written out, right? And to make it even better, number them each, okay? So number one is whatever, and then number them all. Take
Hmm.
a picture of that. By this time, you should have the ChatGPT app on your phone. We're assuming you have the app. You can upload that into ChatGPT, and then you can type in or you can speak and say, I've just uploaded a document of all the challenges in my life. I want you to ask me a series of questions, just say a couple of questions each to help me to overcome them and work out a 30-day plan on how I can take it from where it is to where I want to go to. But you need to tell it where you want to go to. Does that make
Hmm.
so? Think
Yeah.
about it. You've done a brain dump. You put all your problems in there. You put it into ChatGPT and you say, right, help me to better this. Right. So, for example, if you're an instructor that wants more pupils and you're running a bit low, or you want to fill up your weekends, how do I go about that? And tell it, I am poor at marketing. And what you need to do, you need to tell it who you want it to be.
Hmm.
Act, and then you say things like act as a world-class marketing expert who specializes in helping driving instructors generate more clients or expand the driving school. And then what happens in it, it understands, oh, I'm not giving this instructor this general advice. Tell him you're a driving instructor as well. Okay. And this is what I teach about. This is what you call prompt engineering, which basically means the instructions that you give it. And
Hmm.
one of the conceptions, what you asked before, the preconceptions we asked before is people don't understand what it does and doesn't know how to communicate to it. This is not just for the industry, Chris. This is for, I mean, I speak all over the world to non-driving instructor businesses and even like lawyers and accountants and people that are really up there, they don't know themselves. And it's all about telling it and explaining to it, I want you to act as a. So let's say you need an accountant and you need accountant help, or you need legal help. Then you can say to it, I want you to act as a lawyer who specializes in this. My goal is, and then what you do is you give it the context. And I usually say to people, give it your story. Tell them what challenges you have. Okay. Tell them what challenges you have and where you want to get to. I want to have 10 more instructors next year. Or, I want more pupils, but, what's the best platform? How do I post? What do I post? What do I not post? You can take a screenshot of your website and upload and show it again and say, how do I improve this website? So when you put this on there, now it's going to come back and it's going to ask you the questions leading up to that. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's going to come back and ask you those questions. When the questions come back to you, so you cut and paste it and answer it and put it back in. Now it's going to come with, it's like you have a business consultant now that you would pay thousands to help you. So now it's come with all the solutions. Now, are some of them going to be wrong? Yes. Does it make stuff up called hallucination? Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going to sit up. I was even yesterday was making. I told it something, and it came back, and I had to remind it. Oh, sorry, Des. I was like, yeah, come on. And I was like, come on, you shouldn't be making mistakes, right? But it does. So I'm just letting everybody be aware it's going to make mistakes. So don't come looking for me at an event and you want to get me in an headlock and say you told me that he doesn't make things up.
When it makes mistakes, it's like a puppy. It comes back for more afterwards. So you can give it a severe telling off.
Oh yeah, don't be afraid.
It's so apologetic. That's the bit I hate most. So actually, I've now trained mine not to be so apologetic.
Do you know something, Chris? You're right. And the thing about it is, it's so nice and agrees with you. You could say, "Oh, I'm planning to go and beat up Donald Trump because of all the problems he's causing." Great plan, Des. Which way would you like to do that? I mean, I'm being funny, but you get the gist. You say something you're going to do, and if it sounds great. So what they need to do, Chris, is because obviously people are concerned about privacy as well. And what stuff do I put in there? How do I know no one else ain't going to say that? So in your settings on the bottom left-hand side, everybody, you click on settings, and then there's a data controls button, and then you click on that, and then what happens? I mean, I'm teaching all this; it's all going to be in my book and stuff. But what you need to do is right. So it basically what it does is the information that everybody pumps into AI, everything what it's doing is and the more that we give it, the better it will be because we're training the model. Okay, this is called a large language model, LLM. Okay, basically, this is basically the name of what it is. So what happens then is when you use it. So let's say, for argument's sake, Chris, I know you're the theory guy. Okay, as an example, you're the theory test guy. Okay. So let's say I didn't know you, or it doesn't matter if I know you or not, but let's say I wanted to, you've got this new idea that you're going to revolutionize the whole industry because you've just got this new idea, but you haven't told anybody yet, but you're just talking to ChatGPT. You've created a project, which is a separate, specific section in AI only dedicated to that. And you've got this idea and it's linked with AI and you're going to do this and no one's doing it in the world and you're doing it, right? And it's all great, and you're feeling, and you've asked AI, does anybody else do this? And they've said, no, you're the only one, Chris. Great, unique. I've got a niche. I'm going to be a millionaire in a week, right? Now, when you're doing that, so let's say you're based in where you are. So let's say I'm in, I don't know, anywhere in the world. Let's say I'm in Australia, and I've got similar crossovers with your idea, which is possible. Okay, now. If Chris hasn't gone into his settings in his data control, and in there's a button where you select on or off, giving permission for AI to be used to train the model. And basically what that means, everybody, is that you're protecting your data, which means it cannot be used to train the model. So if Chris had put in there, if he switched it to off, then I wouldn't be able to have access to what he's shared. Okay. If you switch it to be on, that means that all Chris's ideas technically can be his ideas, not his specific chat and threads, but his ideas can be accessed and shared to me with his ideas, right? So what I always tell everybody is turn that off. And this is also if you're using the free plan or the paid plan. The free plan is free and the paid plan is $20 a month. So that way you are protecting, because a lot of people are asking, oh, what about my data? Is it going to be shared? And what about privacy? You go in there and you click on there. I showed a video at the Intelligent Instructor event in March where I showed a 3-minute video how you set up the AI to specifically understand you. So now you've done the data control. What you need to do is you're basically telling ChatGPT who you are, how you want it to communicate to you. Like, for example, when we was beating it up. So now when I've given it the instructions, that's called custom instructions. Same in the settings, you just click on the custom instructions and then you tell ChatGPT, I want you to communicate to me in this way. Do not hallucinate, do not make things up, ask me questions to clarify. Challenge me. Don't always agree with me. If you think something needs reconfirm and ask me, because if you don't put this in the custom instructions, it's not even worth having it because it just be general and more specific. So every time you go into it now, when I go into it, because I've said to it, whatever I need from you, ask me 5 questions, it always asks me 5 questions. And I've also said, make suggestions and do a lot of research before you come with your conclusion and things like that. Now you're going to feel the complete difference because it's more specific to you. So that's the custom instructions, telling it how you want it to communicate to you. Now, underneath that is a section called More About You, okay? So you go to the settings, you click on personalization, and then you've got the custom instructions. What you can do if you want is go into the chat on ChatGPT and say, right, I want to add into my custom instructions and More About You section, ask me some questions to help me prepare what to put in there. And that's what I tell everybody. Now it's asking you the questions, you've answered it, and then you say, right, now you can cut and paste and drop it in there. The More About You section is exactly that.
Yeah.
Who are you? I'm a driving instructor. Right. Okay. Put what challenges you're having. Why are you using ChatGPT? Well, I'm using it to whatever you want it to use it to. Now, and anything else you want to put on there. I have 3 children and their birthdays or whatever it is, because you're going to be searching some stuff for your family, and it may make the suggestion, oh, your daughter likes Barbie. Oh, there's a Barbie expo at Excel in the school holidays. Just wanted to let you, things like that. And there's so much more that you can do with that. Now you've sorted out your data control. You've now told ChatGPT how you want it to communicate to you specifically. You might want bullet points. You might want it to send you videos. You might want it to give you screenshots of competitors, and the list goes on.
So remembering who we're talking to, right? So we're talking to driving instructors. To me, that just shouts a good lesson plan and your standards check. It's exactly the same thing in that you want a goal, right? It needs to be client-centered. To be client-centered, we need to know who the client is. So we're making ChatGPT into a really good driving instructor. Yes, it is going to come and take your jobs. It's going to happen now. But so you have a good goal, you have a point to it, and it works better when there's a point. So you're saying, this is what I'm trying to achieve. This is what I'm trying to get out of it. Who I want you to be. This is who I am, and this is my experience, my concerns, my strengths, my weaknesses, whatever those things are. And you don't have to write it yourself, because you can ask ChatGPT to write it for that box for you.
And you can talk to it to tell it if you want in your car.
Yeah. And it can, and it's on CarPlay as well. I noticed yesterday. I hadn't noticed that before, but it's on CarPlay, so you can tap the button and have the conversation with it while driving. I don't know if that's a good idea. I think there are concerns there, but it's a thing. You then need to make sure that the roles are outlined, so it knows exactly what you want from it, how it's going to engage, how it's going to respond, when's it going to step in, when isn't it, where are the lines, and then you get on and you do the job, and you make it an attainable set of steps. Not let's go and figure out how to drive in one lesson, but go, it's going to take an amount of time. How do we do it bite-sized pieces? Again, for me, it feels so natural in what we
Mm,
do as an instructor to go,
yeah.
and here's a resource that works the same way that we do. I think it puts us in a very strong position that other people in other jobs and industries will have to work really hard to figure this AI thing out. But actually, if you sit down and you work it through as if you're teaching it to drive, but it's teaching you, and you're leading it through the process. So in a way, you're the trainer rather than the instructor. For me, that's always kind of made sense, which is why I think like I do with everything, I jumped in with both feet and just figured out how to swim. But it's a really interesting process. What moving across from the misconceptions, what are the things where and you've already kind of covered one of my questions was what can instructors do really easily as a kind of one-off thing, and it's an analysis tool, isn't it, to begin with. It can help you do that. So what's something instructors can get horribly wrong and they should avoid?
Um, Taking the information as gospel and not doing your due diligence and making sure it's correct as well. I mean,
We've
I
got Facebook for that.
but yeah, because someone on Facebook will always tell you what you've done wrong and say, thanks very much. I didn't notice that. Yeah, there's always that one. There's always that one ex-school teacher or someone like that. But um, I just think it does hallucinate everybody. Just be careful, and if you're going to use any sensitive information, just be mindful. If you are going to use it, turn the data control off so it doesn't share the model. Okay, number one. But I always tell everybody to avoid, sensitive, confidential information to put on there. But it's easier said than done. If you need answers now and you're in a desperate place, then you've got to do what you need to do. So then there's that. Also, just be mindful of it comes back. It may ask you a question. You ask it a question, and you don't really know the answer, but you need a proper 100% accurate answer. I'm telling you now, every single answer that comes back is going to sound 100% on point. It's going to sound, that is 100%. I didn't think of that. And it can just basically just go off at a tangent. Okay. So that's why when you set up your custom instructions and you tell it, do not hallucinate. Now, is that 100% bulletproof? No, but it will reduce it significantly because now you're telling it that. Now, don't be afraid to, if it does that with you, tell it you've made a mistake, or if something doesn't feel too right, then what you can do is say to it, and this is what I do all the time, okay? Within ChatGPT and Claude, and I think Perplexity, they have something that's called deep research, okay?
Mhm.
And what that means, Chris, basically is that when you do a normal search, so let's say I went in there now and I said, right, give me the driving instructors in the Birmingham area, and it will give me a list of the driving instructors in the Birmingham area, okay? And let's say I said, right, I want the driving instructors that are also fleet trainers and ADI trainers and audit trainers or whatever it is. Now, it may give me some, but it won't be as accurate. So basically, it's a weak search. All right.
Mhm.
Now, you could do that and just think, oh, wow, this is amazing. I need this information. I'm paraphrasing it because I'm using this as an example. You take that, grab it, and you run with it to do what you need to do. But then when it came back to you and you said to it, right, now run a deep research on your research and improve it by 30%. Okay. So what then happens then, even on ChatGPT, there's a cross button, sorry, there's a cross. You click on that and a drop-down menu comes down and there's lots of different things like there's deep research, there's study and learn, there's lots of other stuff that which is another conversation that we can have. We'll go over it another time.
Mm.
But what you can do, you can either select deep research, or you can type into the thread the two words deep research. So what that means is it's going to go deeper and deeper and do the best ever research that you've ever thought that Google won't do for you. All right. Now what it does, it takes it a bit of a while to come back with the content that you want, but then what you will see what's happening, it takes a few minutes, 5, 10 minutes sometimes, depending on what you want. And what it does then, it goes and does a deeper research, and it's you very rarely it hallucinates on the deep research, okay? Because what it does, it comes back with the sources and the facts and the
Yeah.
figures and the stuff that's relative. So what happens when you go on Google, there's a general search, okay? And when they do a general search, somebody could have written a blog and it's crap, but they will put that in there and we think it's possibly correct and it's not. What deep research does, it goes and researches the sources, which means the factual information to the T within reason. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, don't quote me, it's not 100%, but it's better than the research. So it'll go and it'll find people that have created YouTube videos, reviews on Trustpilot, articles, blogs, LinkedIn. If it's professionally stuff, there'll be
Mhm.
articles from LinkedIn. So it will go and do a deep research. You can even say to it, what do you want in the deep research? So you might say, I want to know what the driving instructors in Australia are doing to run a successful driving school versus what happens in the UK. What's the big difference? So then it will go and do the deep research and it will come back with ideas. But if you say my end goal is I want this to help me to get another 10 instructors on board, it will be
Mm.
specific for you that way. So I think out of everything to do with what people are using it for, Chris, just be mindful, everybody, that it may come back to you with something and it's happened to me. I'm not going to say I'm perfect. I'll make mistakes and stuff as well. I'm human. No, this is AI. It's me, right? But it's going to make mistakes. So you may need that email or that important document. You might be sending an email to your children's school and it'll just make things up. But because it will never come out and hit you and say this is wrong. It just looks and it will come back and say, I've sent this to you now, Des. Hope this is okay. And then you look at it and think, wow, it sounds great. When it comes back, don't be afraid to say, I want this to be better. And then what you could say is improve this times 10% and make it more human, or make it more firm, or make it more masculine, or make it more feminine. And it will keep coming back and doing it. Get into that dialogue with it as well, And then that way, you will reduce your chances of it making mistakes for you.
So, in an industry where, oh, I get this wrong. I used to always call it, a word of mouth industry because most instructors can fill their diary just by word of mouth. But it's not. It's a reputation-based industry. It's not about the talking. It's reputation and it's perception of reputation. So it's not just are you good, but do people think you're good? And in fact, you can be rubbish and people can think you're good.
Yeah.
We've everybody listening
All
has.
across all businesses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but everyone who's listening has just had a face from their local market or what have you coming into the, where you sort of think, I'm better than them, but they've got a really good reputation.
Yeah.
Or you think they've got a really good reputation, you don't know how good they are, and we often we're taken in by it as well. Is that one of the dangers of AI that it can make people who don't know what they're talking about or aren't very good look incredibly good if they're good at using it? And I say this as the person who has for a long time said I'm just better at Google than everyone else. When people sort of there's this thing, especially with local instructors and what have you, it's where if we don't know, Chris will, and I'll get a text message or a phone call going, right, you'll know where to find it. That used to be why I was Lou Walsh's go-to when she needed a bit of paper that she couldn't find somewhere. And we always used to joke about it. And I used to say, it's because I'm better at Google than everyone else.
Mhm.
And it is, I know, because I know roughly I can figure it out and I can can find it. With AI, we need to be even less of an expert in some ways because it's filling those gaps for us. So, is there a point at which we can't necessarily believe anything we see when you get, the now we're seeing it on Facebook posts, and if you know what you're looking for, an AI Facebook post stands out a mile off. Um, if you know what to tidy up, you can hide that to some extent, but
Mm.
normally there's still a telltale sign, and it's very hard to kind of draw those lines. And I think so. I know at least two people and myself who've changed the way that we write things because the way that we've always written things looks a bit AI, and we've had to change the format because people were pointing fingers. I say it's just because we're on a spectrum somewhere, but that it comes across in that way. There was a brilliant someone had sent out an email and they got a reply back saying brilliant, very to the point email, but it's such a shame that you've cut the the human nature out of everything and used AI for it. And the reply was, no, actually I'm autistic. And it was just that way of writing that it reflected
Mm.
it. So sometimes we make the wrong assumption that it's AI and it isn't, and other
Yeah.
times it's in there, it's AI and we don't notice. Um, is there anything we can do, to prevent that problem? Because as you said, you could be, and I've seen your AI version of you doing a presentation on the screen. It's not perfect yet. You
Yeah.
obviously are, but it's not perfect yet. So it's the imperfections, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
what you need. The way that I talk and behave, it really struggles to make it realistically me. Yeah, I've got too many twitches and issues with my speech. But what can we do to protect us against that the incorrect image going out there, and being able to say, I'm really good, I'm just rubbish at AI? Or do we all need to get good at AI so we compete?
It's really interesting. It's a good point you've raised because wherever I speak, and I remember I spoke at a dinner event once, and I had this journalist from Germany it was like she wanted to fight me because there are industries that are like you're cool about it, but there are people that are anti-AI badly, and the most of them are just afraid of it,
Hmm.
and they're afraid of what everybody most probably knows somebody that it's affected them in their work possibly as well, right? And you get the phrases that AI is going to replace your jobs and stuff. I would say the driving instructor industry is safe at the moment. You're not going to have robots teaching your pupils to drive in the near.
You can have automated vehicles before that, so actually we're not
Yeah.
going to need the instructors in the first place.
Yeah, but that's for the DVSA to sort out, and I think they've got enough on their plate at the moment. But
They've got a department for it because the guy who was in charge of the theory test has moved to the automated vehicle department of the DVSA. So they're actually on that one.
I think they maybe it's a good idea to get 1,000 examiners out there then, and then that'll just sort out the backlog. But anyway, that's
Maybe.
enough. That's another conversation at another time. But this woman was challenging me, and what she was saying is that she really hates when she sees news, fake news on when she did have a point. But she was so passionate. I thought she was going to give me a slap because I've just come off stage and more probably wasn't aligned with her values. Like don't shoot the messenger. But she was saying was that in her industry, it's really damaging because there's all this fake news out there, and people don't know what's good and what's real and what's fake. And then what happens then is then people just has a neutral view on it, which therefore means it could be a really genuine article or feature within the news. And then you have AI that are giving out the news in some countries and reading out the news. And I was trying to say, and I had a lot of people saying this, and it's like we all need to take responsibility, first of all, of our perception of what we're going to do about it, because it all starts with with ourselves. I mean, think back when the internet first came out. Nobody would have thought that it was a necessity to have a website. But there's even still instructors now, majority of them don't have a website, which is another subject at another time, but they need to have that website. And now all businesses has a website. So when I had Des O'Connor's drivingschool.com in 1998, there was AI, I think AI and BSM back then, they had it anyway. And then some of but the normal schools like us didn't have that because back then it was expensive to get a website done. I think
Yeah.
my logo and logo and my website was like £1,500. That's a lot of money back then, but I wanted to invest in that as well. So I say to people, if you have something that's coming into your industry or generally in your life and it's not going away, just like the internet, I use the internet because it's the nearest that I can use as a reference. You either embrace it or you don't. The internet and social media, they were the two things that changed the whole driving instructor industry because traditionally, remember, we relied, as you said, it was word of mouth-ish and it was yellow pages. The big, ugly looking manual.
It's the thing you tear in half, isn't it, to show how strong you are? That's what the
Yeah,
yellow
one of
pages
those
is.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you're trying to find a plumber and it's like a million of them in there, you don't know which one to call. But that's all we had before the internet and this. I'm talking I qualified in 1998. It was just yellow pages and then yell.com came about. So what there was a change and there was a transition and people don't like change, Chris, unfortunately, and especially even more so in our industry because the majority of instructors are more or less on the mature end and they've been going for quite a while. So this can be perceived as too technical for them. And what one of my goals is to educate them and say, look, it's not as serious. I've got an instructor that I'm coaching. He's 74, right? Grade A instructor. He's been going for like a million years, but he's got it, and it's not that difficult to grasp. So I would say to us, it's a valid point you're saying. However, what are we going to do? We've got three choices. We either run away from it and hope it's going to go away, and then get left behind because you will. Right? Because the instructors in your area, once they know certain things, they will ethically take your pupils because the word of mouth can only work for so long. And unfortunately, there's lots of instructors I'm speaking to are quite arrogant and set in their ways because their diaries full for the next 3 to 6 months. They're thinking that's how it's always going to be. There's a lot more ADIs and PDIs coming on board more than ever before. That is going to feel. Have you not? Simple question I ask you, instructors. Have you not seen there's more cars on the road lately? More driving instructors. That should be a sign. And they're in your area. You could be 100 miles away from your area. You'll see the same thing. But don't think that doesn't affect you. So therefore, if there's more instructors on the road, and you're not on top of your marketing, your branding, not even knowing about AI, and these new guys are coming on, and then you get the ones that are already established that are watching this interview now, and the little tips I'm giving you, they're going to know how to bypass you on Google. They're going to know how to bypass you on social media. So my answer is this is like, you got the first one that's going to run away. You got the one that's sitting on the fence, not doing much. And then you got the third one that understands it and wants to run with it, that come along to the events and looking up stuff and all those things. I say to everybody, embrace it because it's not going away. This is not Clubhouse where it was around for a short period of time.
Yeah.
All you need to do is look at the media, look at the news. Everything is AI now. So back to what you were saying is, I just say to people, embrace it. Learn something each day. When you're in the car, play a podcast, play a YouTube clip. You're in the car all your life. Educate your mind and listen to what people are saying and how you can learn it and play about with it when you're in between lessons or you're at home and just go to ChatGPT, speak to it. I'm a novice using AI. I'm not technical. Help me to get the best out of using this. Even speak to it and ask me questions that could help me. And then it will come back and say, right, Tell us some of your challenges you're experiencing. Oh, well, I'm a bit poor on social media. Oh, okay. Well, we can create the posts for you. So all you do is cut and paste. Oh, I haven't really,
And
and things like that.
and I think that, with my business coaching hat on, the thing that stands out to me is that the people that are they're busy, the people that are successful, that can look at it and go, yeah, but I don't need it. I get that. The people who are quiet and need it are going to be the ones that are investing in it, that have got time to invest in it.
That's right.
So you need to at least know your enemy. You need to at least look at it to go, what threats do I need to be aware of? And it's hazard perception, just to go with another analogy that instructors, it makes sense because I spend a lot of time explaining hazard perception to people who don't understand it. It's about training you what dangers to look for. That's it. It's making you aware of what they are. Are they always going to be there? Are they going to affect you? No. And a lot of them we can ignore. We go down the road, it's not a threat, but we need to have seen it. We need to know it's there to be able to see it's a threat. And again, to me, that's from the business, business development, business awareness side of things. That really sort of stands out as being, any good business should know, know what's going on. Good old SWOT analysis and all of that.
Yeah,
But again, if you don't want to do all of that stuff, we know an AI that will do it for you.
right.
Big,
And also, it's sorry to cut you, but there's a valid point you've made there because your business is based on your competitors in your area. You haven't got to worry about 20 miles down the road what's going on. Okay, so it's in your area. There's only a certain amount of selection of your competitors in your area. So you are all competing for the same amount of people. Yeah, just like a
yeah,
pub, more or less. Okay. Now,
yeah.
with AI now, you can, so let's say it's me and you are an instructor in our area, and we've just got, we've got two instructors working for us as an example. Okay. And we're when you search for us on Google, we're sort of, third and fourth or fifth and sixth or whatever. But at the top, you've got John Smith. Okay. And every time you search, you do the search in our area, John Smith always comes up at the top, right? We don't know why, but that's what's happening with his driving school. With AI now, not only can I would be able to go and look at, this is what I do a lot of instructors, I can look at your competitors straight away, look at their social media, their website, and I can see the good things they're doing and the things that they're not doing, right? This is because based on what I do. Now, what could happen is me and you could look at John Smith's and we could find out exactly how he's getting to the top of Google, how he's doing his marketing, and how it's worded, which is another phrase called copy. If you heard the word copy, it just basically means the text, because he has SEO optimized his website, which basically means search engine optimization. So basically, when you go and search for something and it comes on the top page of Google, it's optimized because it's matching your keywords that you're searching for. Okay. Most people are not aware that Google owns YouTube. So if you think about it, and I say this to everybody, people think, oh, I've got an Instagram account, I've got 10 billion people following me on Instagram and TikTok, and those are the sort of the main ones, right? 2 years ago, TikTok in America was shut down for a short period of time, right? And there was people that solely relied on TikTok, okay? I'm saying to everybody, make sure you're on all platforms, especially on a website on the internet. Because when people go and search for you, if you're not on Google, they're not going to find you. And Google are not going to favor Instagram and TikTok over YouTube. So what does that tell me and everybody else? You need to get on YouTube, even if it's a pass, even if you've got a pupil that's just got out of the car. And because obviously we never let them drive after the test, do we? Right? So we get them in the car and then we're recording them. They've got in the car and in the test center, if you've got time, or park around the corner, share how you feel. Oh my God, I just passed my test. We know what it's like. Oh my God, I love you. record that, upload it to YouTube. If you don't know how to do that, ask ChatGPT. I want to set up a YouTube account, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Now that helps you get high up on the rankings of Google. You might want to interview somebody about the topic within the driving industry. So the more videos, the point I'm saying is if you're not on YouTube, your fellow competitors who are, and they know how you did your marketing, AI can spot the flaws or how you should be doing it. And then all of a sudden, if me and Chris knew how we looked at John Smith's and we're thinking, more than likely he's not on YouTube, all right? More than likely. And we started posting content on YouTube. We changed all our copy on our website, optimized it. Within time, we would bypass John Smith, and we haven't got to pay for the ads. And there's tools on there's tools on AI that can do that for you. You can put in this website, you can put in your competitors' website. Imagine finding out how your competitors in your area are doing what they're doing. You get a report on that. Then you need to do is right. Okay, John Smith has done this. What mistakes is he making? Then what you do, you not only do you copy, model what John Smith's doing, you then improve yours that he's not doing, and then within time you will overtake him.
Yeah. So some of this is about I'm ex-retail. That was my background before I became a driving instructor. Seems like a very long time ago now. It was before the grey hair and the beard. It was before that. So hair
and the good looks.
It's wow, I don't know. Three kids taking their toll, but and the DVSA is taking its fair share as well. But I Parker pens, right? Everyone knows a Parker pen, right? Most people had one when they were growing up. Nowadays, not quite so prevalent as a fountain pen, but they made a massive mistake. They used to have like an A5 piece of card with the pen on it, and someone came along and went, "We can fit more pens out if we make that smaller," and they turned it sideways, and they lost real estate, and they lost space, and their sales got hit. And if you look now, they've gone back to those kind of sizes in a lot of places, because it's taking up space. If when you put in a Google search and you take up space on that front page and you've got stuff going on there, people find you because that's what they see. That's what's in front of them. And I think, that's what you're saying is try to take up some space. It doesn't have to be amazing use of that space, but get out there, get your foot in the door. And it is when if all of a sudden it goes quiet, the instructor has already done a bit of legwork and has got some real estate out there, is going to be 2 steps ahead, 3 steps ahead of the person who's just starting out.
That's right.
And
the ones they got to be aware of, the new ones that are coming up, especially the younger ones, okay? Because they're going to be on it. They're going to be looking to see who can help them. They're going to be coming to, they're going to get my book. They're going to come to seminars. They're going to speak to people like Chris about the theory and looking at how he's doing what he's doing, and most probably do a replica of that. And they'll be on it because then think about when you first came on board as an instructor. I remember I was excited. I want to take on the world. And I was nervous because I just got my little Micra back then. Oh, the clutch was really sharp then. The little square mic, the first square mic. Oh, the clutch on them was, because then I moved to the Corsa because you could just move off with just the clutch with the Corsa. Don't need any gas. The Micra, you needed to really give it that gas and get the bite, and you got to really keep it. And you'd stall. If you've got someone that's got a dodgy left clutch, you're stalling. Anyway, I'm digressing, but you've been stalling all the time. Yeah. I'm just remembering what it used to be like. But yeah, it's you need to be on top, because this is why I'm showing to everybody. I'm not trying to make them afraid, but I'm making them aware. Every year, this time last year, there's been so many developments. There's been so many changes I can't keep up with the changes. One thing you've mastered something on ChatGPT on Claude, and then there's a new model that's come out, and then what you could do before is replaced with that. And you just, if you haven't been clued up, you're not going to know. So I just wanted to educate everybody and just let them know this is what's available. Do I know everything? No, I absolutely don't, but nobody does, if you know what I
Mhm.
mean. But I know that with my experience of being in your guys' shoes many years ago, I know how it feels. I know the industry inside out. So I know what needs to happen to help you to overcome this and help them to, to be successful and just reduce that fear and just start. It's like anything in life. You throw a stick out in the garden and you start when it lands,
Yeah.
that
But
metaphor.
that's a generational change. And I see this with my 15-year-old at nearly 16, and it annoys the heck out of me, right? And I see it as a real threat to a lot of what we do because we're experts in a field, and the field you've just hit me with a stick in. But we're no, and I hate the word expert. I've had rows about the word expert, but we're specialists.
Let it
We have
go, Chris. Let it go, Chris. Let it go. Let it go.
it's an expert is a old and defunct is X, and a spurt is a drip under pressure. So you're an old defunct spurt under drip under pressure. Anyway, so the you know we value that expertise. We've come from a generation of people coming through that value expertise. The new generation coming through, partly because of things like AI and stuff, they don't value it. They want the answer. They don't want to know how you got there. They don't want
Yeah,
the working out. They couldn't care less. If their mate can tell them how to do it, that's good enough for them, and they'll have a go, and they'll break it in a lot of cases, and then they'll come to whoever's in charge and say, "Please fix it because I broke it."
yeah,
They don't know how to break it because they haven't got the expertise. But that's not the point. So it's this "I'll have a go" approach, you know, and that I think, especially when you talk about the different generations in the industry and needing to be informed with the up and coming threats coming through who are doing things differently. That when I first came into the industry, the idea of cars driving themselves was sci-fi. When I came into the industry, learning via a computer or virtual reality, I consulted with three companies, not just one, three companies during lockdown who were seriously looking into VR systems. So the driving instructor can drop into the VR seat next to them, teach them from your bed if you want. They're really looking at that as an option. They don't need to be a driving instructor. They need to be a tech specialist. For me, the lovely thing about all of these approaches, you don't need to be an expert or a specialist because that's the system's job. What you need to know your business and your industry and you,
yeah.
and then it fills in that for you, and it's lovely. You have mentioned your book a number of times, so uh, tell us about your book. What? Yeah, let's see. Can you get it without the blur? Can you? There you go.
Can you see it clearly? Is
Not
it?
quite. No, you're gonna have to reveal the background. There you go. Lovely. Right. Is it a you or is it an AI you on the front cover? That's the big question, isn't it?
Of course, it's me. Come on.
No, it's still
I
blurred. It's still blurred. It's all good. But
did it on purpose.
so yeah. So why do people need it?
Right. So this book is going to be everything that we've discussed on this call. And we could do this for another few hours, I know that. But it's basically helping instructors to attract more pupils, what we want, automate your admin. So it just basically does all your admin crappy stuff you don't want to do, and build a driving school business that works without you. AI can do that. So there's going to be 10 chapters in the book. And each chapter is going to come with a free video course. So I didn't just want to, and I thought about this and I thought, how can I make this different for our industry? I just didn't want to have a book and you read it and you put it down, because most people, when we read a book, we put it down and that's that. But I wanted to connect with the instructor and I wanted to take them on a journey where, say, for example, chapter one is about ChatGPT, okay, as an example.
Hmm.
So you've got all the written up about ChatGPT in there, but then how do I take it to another level? How can I really help them further? So they can just scan a QR code there, and then that takes them to a video course. So the video course is part of it. It's free, by the way. So they scan that, and then there's me maybe going over the custom instructions and the more about you and the data analyst, what I just said before. So that could be chapter one. Now they're thinking, wow, and then what then happens then, I can then continually send them more information. So it's gone from chapter one. So there's different chapters on there. It's about everything. Fleet, how to get more fleet, how to grow your driving school, how to get more pupils, how to create images, how to create vouchers, how to create images, how to communicate to it, how to prompt it better. Prompting meaning, prompt engineering meaning how you communicate to it. What are the top tools that you can use to better what you want to do, whether it's images. You may want to, book a holiday for your family. AI can do that for you. Not only can it research it for you, it can actually make the booking for you if you want. That's how deep it's going to be. And
my other half's going to be out of a job. So what I keep her around for stuff like that. What's she going to do with her time?
So you get that, and then what I'm also doing is everybody that gets the book, there's a 200 and 199 pounds free video course when you order this online, and so there's three options here for people. I'm pleased to say that Chris is going to be at my AI launch conference, which is taking place on July the 5th, Sunday, July the 5th at Heathrow, Radisson Red Heathrow. And we have supporting speakers. We've got Chris, we've got a guy called Raj, who's helping instructors with their apps. They're booking their diaries and online payments as well. We have Graham Hooper, who's well known in the industry. He's going to be speaking as well. And we have obviously Chris, who's going to be there as well, speaking as well. I think you know who Chris is.
Do I know what about yet?
No.
No, I've started planning. Right?
No, it's all good. He's going to be. Main thing is you're going to be in the room.
Planning. It's going to be good.
Fantastic, and we have pleased to say Peter Harvey, who is the godfather of MSA. He actually is MSA. So Peter Harvey, vice chairman of the Motor Schools Association. Those of you who don't know about it, they've been going for over 1 million years, helping drivers.
And he started it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, Peter. I love you. You're great. Genuinely. Peter, if you've got a question, he is the most level-headed person to have a chat with. He's brilliant.
And he's going to be, all the other speakers are going to be presenting, but he's going to be interviewed on stage. If anybody who would understand the industry more than anybody else that I think of that's been around for, but just because he's been around, but he's very knowledgeable. He knows his stuff as well. And I think the MSA is the longest serving association for driving instructors, if you correct me if I'm wrong. So I think they are. So
yeah.
Cool. one of them, if not, but he's got a membership of nearly 30,000 on his list for that as well. He's based in Scotland, but it doesn't mean that they do events all over the UK. So it's going to be a whole day event, and there's 3 different ways to get on board. I've just did 3 different ticket tiers as well. And the first one is you get the book and you get the course, which is $199, and that just costs you $9.99. That's it. If you go
hang on. So £199 for the would be for the course, but you get that for $9.99. Do you know all these 9?
And you get the book for free. However you want to wrap it up.
Right. It's 10 quid for the book, right? So 99p, 10 quid for the book, you get a £200.
Yeah, but you know, Chris, there's always going to be that one person that say you're scamming me because you said it was $9.99 and it's 10 quid on there. Come on, there's always that one.
That's fine. They can talk to you. So
talk to my AI.
Okay. So you get the video course as part of that. So my £10 note would get me that.
Yes. So at £10 you get the book shipped to you, and you get the free course that will be available to you as well. Now, in relation to the event, which is taking place on July the 5th, those of you that obviously not local, or it's too far to attend, or you just cannot make it on that day, or you can't leave your house because you're under the thumb, because I had
to ask permission. it's a Sunday and it's the day after my daughter's birthday, so I did have to ask permission. But
Us men, we have to ask permission, guys. Like, come on, we need to do it right.
weekend is not my territory, so that's all. But no,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. It's at Heathrow, isn't it?
So basically, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's in Heathrow. So the silver ticket is basically for you if you want the book, you want all the bronze, you get the book and the course, but you want to access it virtually like now. And you just want to be in your house and you just want to see the whole day event. It's only £29 for that. Okay. So you get £29 to experience it virtually. However, if you want to attend the event and turn up, get lunch, refreshments, you can get to hug and kiss Chris if you want. I know he's going to I know he's going to have a shave that day, and then attend the whole event, lunch, refreshments, the whole day, 9 till about 5, with loads of instructors, hearing from the experts as well. Can't use the word expert, Chris, don't like that.
don't
And
like it.
then it's £79. Okay, so you've got three options. Bronze, you get the book and the course, 9.99, or your silver, you get all of bronze. All the only difference is that you're paying another £10 for the Zoom access as well. That's £20, isn't it? Sorry, yeah, another £20 for the Zoom access. And if you want to attend the whole day event, it's at the Radisson Hotel in Heathrow on Bath Road. Free parking as well, all day event. I know a lot of instructors are staying over the night before, so they're in the morning, but all that's going to be all done and dusted. And that's what I wanted to do. And this will be annually as well. This is the first one, because obviously next year, I guarantee what's all in there, you must have to bin that book. No, don't literally bin it, but you'd have to get the
Recycle it.
you recycle it and get the upgraded one in there as well, because there are going to be new tools, new ways of things that's going to be happening. So I'm pleased to have this for you guys as well. And I'm pleased Chris is on board and supporting it. Really, really happy about that, as well as the others as well.
I was told there was lunch. I was,
Yeah, there's like
everyone knows I judge everything on lunch. We're running an event for trainers in June, and someone said, "Is lunch included?" I'm like, "How long have you known me? Of course it's included. I started with lunch.
lunch.
That's
That was
yeah.
the first
No,
thing. I've worked everything around that.
I know. I'm genuinely looking forward to seeing what it's about, because I don't know of anything in the industry that's been like it before. I think the I went to the ICE show, which is about VR stuff. So that kind of tech arena and everything else. And it was very lacking in driving instructors, because I think we don't understand that. We hear the tech side of things and we think, oh, it doesn't directly fit.
Yeah.
For me, this already directly fits. Let's say that's what I'm looking forward to speaking about, is sharing some of my journey and my experience of it, because it's been a really positive one. It's been great. I've fallen on my face a few times, but that's where I say you learn. That's all how you learn. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't believe in shelf improvement, which is when you buy the book and you put it there and don't read it. But as a dyslexic, I'm not the greatest at reading stuff. I like my audiobooks and things, so please do an audiobook version, because then I will actually digest it.
I'm
Um,
on.
but but being able to access that, and I say sometimes we get people saying, "Oh, I can't travel" and everything else. Oh, you've ticked all the boxes. Whichever version of AI you asked to plan it for you, you did a really good job. It's all good. So it is, it's exactly that, isn't it? Whatever you're doing, it'll work and it'll be great. So I'm looking forward to it, and yes, I'm also looking forward to Peter Harvey delivering his expertise on AI. Having spent a good bit of time with Peter, I'm really interested what his thoughts are, having
Mm.
spanned a few changes in the industry, of things going on, technological inside of cars and everything else.
Yeah.
I love his insights. So knowing he's going to be there is also exciting for me. So
Yeah, yeah, and he's I'm going to be interviewing him on stage, so he's not giving a presentation. So what I will do is the gold ticket holders, if they have any specific questions, I can ask it to him on stage as well. And these are the people that are been doing this. Is anything you ask them, he liaises very regularly with the DVSA. So if there's things that you want, there might be some suggestions. It's not a DVSA event, right?
Yeah.
Where it's not like that. I have been in communication with the DVSA. I'm not sure if anyone's going to come, but if they wanted to come, obviously they're welcome to. But Peter knows his stuff. And
Mhm.
these are the people, when I was starting my school, they were there, but there wasn't as accessible and it wasn't as prominent as now. There wasn't events like this.
Mhm.
The DIA, the ADI, NJC, then all the intelligent instructor and MSA. They had, I don't even remember if they were events because I never remember attending any of them. There was
I think they were what I call the old school conferences. So more of a lecture. You go along, you'd have a speaker, you'd have another speaker, you get lunch, right? That's where I went. But then it was very much that. I love what the industry's become on that front,
Mm,
and I think it's a real shame that people coming into it new think this is what it's always been like, because
yeah,
it hasn't. It
it
used to
wasn't
be
that.
your CPD was talking to the instructor at the test center, and it was a peeing contest as to who had 100% pass rate. And if you were lucky, you found a good one, which I did. Lynn Webb, a shout out to her every day of the week, because she let me know that what I wanted to do was okay because it wasn't what I was trained to do, and I wanted to do it as me, and I wanted to. And I like to think it's not gone too bad so far.
Yeah,
I still don't know where I'm going. I haven't got any sense of direction, but I've enjoyed the journey, and it wouldn't have happened if I didn't meet that really good instructor who
yeah,
gave me that bit of permission.
brilliant.
And I think what's nice now is you can go along to an event and you can meet 100 really good instructors, because guess what? The good ones are the ones that turn up. You know.
Exactly. And I'd echo that, Chris, because when you come to these events, these are the instructors that are willing to invest in their professional development. And I've got lots of instructor friends from when I was teaching, and I've sent them, WhatsApp message about this, and they're not interested because there are some that are just set in their ways. They don't care about the development. They just know that they're getting enough money to pay the bills and get on with their life, which is still okay. It's not
Yeah.
wrong. However, uh, do not be surprised in the near future, your calls and your pupils are going to go down significantly. And then you're going to be playing catch up. And by
Mhm.
then, you're going to be in the bottom of the pile in your area. And I'm not saying this to frighten everybody. I'm just being realistic. I can see what is happening. And if you don't understand this, you're not on board with it, it's going to affect you. And this is not like how the internet was. This is like 1,000 times bigger and better. And it wasn't always like this with the problems with the DVSA. When when we, you're talking 20 years ago, you could you could I was doing intensives and I could get someone, they book someone's, they did 20 hours before me and they've got a test booked on a Friday. I could give them 5 hours, 7 hours a day every day leading up to the test and guarantee I can get them a test because in if you think back, Chris, because we're in South London, right?
Yeah.
So you had Lee Green, you had Sidcup, you had Bexley Heath, you had Hither Green, you had South Norwood. So there was like a good 7, 8, 9 test centres locally that you knew you could get a test in a week to 2 weeks very easily, very, very easily and confidently as well. And it's changed now, but
Yeah.
it wasn't always like that. And I'm just hoping that it gets sorted. I need to really myself look at what the issue is and see if there's anything I can do some research myself to help the DVSA. So I'll be liaising with Peter about that and see what, because I believe whenever there's a problem, there's always a solution, Chris.
Mm.
It's just that no one maybe not thought of the solution. It may be
That,
something that they need to do. You say, well, why don't you? I may see what the problem is, and they say, well, why don't you just do that? And no
I,
one's thought.
I hate it when people leave it to the last moment to say something that I then want to have an hour long conversation about. But I think that. this echoes what I was saying about that having that understanding and the background to it and everything else. Is that, a lot of instructors will be echoing what you just said, of going, it's about a solution, and I've got these ideas and things, and so often they feel dismissed. It's not dismissed because they're bad ideas; it's because it doesn't fit the whole.
Yeah.
But we don't see what that whole is. So I keep encouraging people that there's people like ourselves. Ian and myself are in the room at the forum at the DVSA, but there's also the likes of Peter, the DIA, ADNJC, the awesome John Rogers. Everybody, just take a moment to visit Disability Driving Instructors, because if you haven't, you need to. And there's expertise in that room that is looking at it. It's a
Mm.
way bigger picture than us, a bit like all the rest of politics. My view is, future proofing your business is the key, because the problem will either be solved or it won't be. If it isn't, you need to future proof yourself about the fact of
Right.
there's no tests.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
What are you going to, yeah.
If it is solved, you need to future proof yourself against that. Just the interesting note that from what you said jumped out to me is, it's not what I thought it was when you first said to me about it, of an event for people that want to get into AI necessarily. It's an event for people who have questions.
Yeah.
That includes people who want to get into it and people who maybe think they don't, but they just want to make sure they're making the right decision. So yeah, I think people coming along with questions is, I think it sounds so much more like that than it does a
And
specialist event.
that's right. And remember, there's no one else helping the whole industry with this. So, whether you cannot attend virtually or you cannot attend physically, get the book, and at least you've got a reference. Because if I wasn't doing this, then people would just be even more scared, because it's just out there in the industry. And when you've got all this kind of stuff, the worst thing is when there's all this stuff that's out there and you don't understand it, and you need it, but there's no one telling you, well, this is what you need to do, this is how you need to do
Yeah.
what you need to do. But you're right. Come along, get your questions answered, network as well. It's not going to be one of those, oh, sit down there and it's going to be exercises, you're going to be lots of learning. So when you go back, you'll be like, wow, like you would be the 1% ahead of everyone else in the industry. I guarantee that, because you're making the effort to invest in an event where it's going to take your knowledge of AI to how it was to, wow, I didn't know I could do that. And even though the information in the book's going to be great, my presentation is going to be, I'll answer questions in the book, but I'm bringing out new, updated stuff to complement the book as well. So,
Yeah.
so you've got the book, because I don't want to. I mean, I will, but I will touch on certain things, but I don't want to put on an event going over the book, even though it's a book launch. I want to now take it right. Now you've got the book. What's the next level now? So then you've got the book, and then you've got more information that you can take away and implement that with your business. And also, don't forget your personal life. Those of you that have family and children, you can. There's an option on ChatGPT called Study and Learn. You click on that. If you have a child who's struggling with maths and English, it can be that tutor speaking to your child. Get them off their phone on social media and get on there on AI an hour a day for 30 days. I have clients that are doing that now. And get your children, where are their areas of their weaknesses and stuff, It might be confidence building or whatever it is. They can sit there and they can speak to somebody live every day to help them overcome whatever obstacle or challenges that they're having. But you can do the same thing for your business as well as your children. And it's the most it's going to cost you is $20 a month, £18 a month, if you use the paid plan as well,
Yeah.
So
And there's a free option to get a foot in the door.
there's a free option.
So,
Yeah, there's a
yeah.
free option. Free option, try it. It's not as going to be as powerful, but it's a start. Get the
Yeah.
free. I always say to people, try the free version for Claude, ChatGPT for the first 30 days, but use it daily. Do the exercise with the sheet I said, write on all your challenges, put it on there, and then trial it and do it with the free version versus the paid, and you will see and then the next month take the paid option and do the same thing,
Yeah.
and you will see the difference. Your credit usage will be swallowed up on the free version. I think you use it for about a couple of hours and it'll kick you
Yeah.
out and try and say, oh well, you run out of credit, you got to wait another 7 years, and then you upgrade and
Yeah.
it's upselling, and then you just do that as well. But that's what I would say to people.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing you. In I will check that you are a human being when I'm there and everything else. On the 5th of July. I
July, and
can't
just
forget it. I
no,
can't forget the date. It's the day after my daughter's birthday.
I
It's like,
know, I know, I know. And he's not
so
even invited me to a party, so I can't have any
I,
ice cream and jelly.
I'm
No,
not going to be there.
no
I'm going to
AI
be
allowed.
with you. But no, I'm thoroughly looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to feedback from this from people. If they've got questions,
Brilliant.
get in touch. I will put in the notes on the video, which will be on YouTube, so it'll come up on Google. See, I'm listening. So I'll make sure that's all in the notes, and on Facebook and everywhere else, if people want to get in touch. But they're always welcome, as always. So
Yeah.
just message.
AI for drivinginstructors.com. You go along there, all the information's on there, and this will be on there as well. So
Awesome. I say if you need it, can't find it, message us at the DITC, and we will point you, as always, in the right direction. Thank you very
great.
much.
Thanks, Chris. That's been absolutely amazing, and I'm looking forward to really working with you and educating and changing the industry, and just educating people to see what's possible. And don't be afraid of it. It's nothing to be afraid of. I'm not a technical person, believe me. But what I've done is it's like people say to me, "Oh, I could." We've all had people that say, "Oh, I could never teach people to drive." Oh, but then it wasn't as bad as that. It was quite the transformation of seeing a novice pass their test, especially first time with no minors. A non-instructor won't relate to that. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
When you get that feeling when the pupil moves off for the first time and stops on the left, and they're like, "Oh my God, I've driven," or they've gone into gear 1 to 2 for the first time and parked up on the left and whacked your tire on the curb and what. I remember, just digressing. I remember when AA. Remember when AA for AA driving school first came about? Was those navy blue Metros? Do you remember?
I know, because I think I was still at school at that point.
I used to.
When you mentioned 1998, I was going to mention that I was just finishing my A levels, but
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I trained with BSM in Baker Street in up West End, and
Mhm.
then I qualified with BSM, and then I went straight to AA at the time because they were having this deal that if you bring an instructor on board, you get, I don't know, a couple of weeks free franchise. So I brought low about 10 of them across from BSM. So I had about 2 months free franchise. It was really great. But what was happening was their first car was a little Micra, a little navy blue Micra. Not Micra, Metro, sorry.
All right, I saw one of those today. Yes, an F Reg Metro.
Oh my! And I
Yes.
remember every time because some pupils, they may whack your curb sometimes when you're teaching or whatever, occasionally, right?
None of mine ever did,
No,
but
no.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, and then every time the tires were so thin and weak, like every time it just grazed the curb, puncture.
Lost the tire. Yeah.
Every single time. I mean, so yeah. So I don't even know why I brought that up. There was a reason why I brought that up. But so basically, yeah, that was what used to happen. It's just taking them through the journey of them just changing. And I think it's they feeling the ones that come in a car do not think they can do it. They're afraid, they're fearful, they're nervous. They've had a lot of people telling them they're crap in their life, and they bring it into the car, and we help them to overcome that by not. It's not even about their license; it's about showing them how to be a competent and confident driver, safe driver on the road, and they've got their license. You can't put a price on that because when we're at, I mean, I used to love it and sometimes it happens now and again, if I remember them, you're out shopping and you bump into a pupil that you passed your test with. Oh, yeah, I passed my test with him, blah. And they remember that. They remember you for even I remember my instructor, like, many years ago, because obviously I'm 25 now, but when I was an instructor, when
But
I
you
was
look younger than me. This is the upsetting thing. In person, between you, me, and Graham Hooper, I'm really worried I'm going to come off worse.
you look like
So
a Wayne Rooney, and then you've got Gerrard next to him, and
we'll
so you,
see. We'll have to do a
you,
lineup.
yeah.
We'll do a lineup. We'll get people to vote on who looks the roughest. So, but yes, no, I think just say what you said there about instructors and people always go, well, you must be really patient or really brave or whatever. On that first lesson, when you took out your first pupil ever and you didn't know what you were doing because the training was mediocre at best, in most cases, that actually, you did it, you survived it, and you got really good at it by taking the first step. So it's the same for the pupils. It's the same for us. It's always the
Yeah,
same when there's
yeah,
a new skill. So no, I'm thoroughly looking forward to it. So
fantastic.
yes, I look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much, Chris. Thanks, everybody. If you got any questions, you can reach out. You can reach out to me. Just go to the website. It's a contact form. My number's on there as well. I'm very approachable. I'll just put you onto my AI twin and they'll deal with it. But no, just reach out. You can, if you've got an email, info@aifordrivinginstructors.com, or just go to the website. But I hope to see you there. Share this in the groups and your network and stuff, because there's going to be an instructor that you'll just change their life now by just showing them this video. Even some of the tips I said in the beginning, there's a lot more. There's a lot more that you can learn from that as well. And just like I said to the woman in Germany that wants to slap me, I said you need to embrace it. She was really like, she wasn't having it because, people are set in their mind that is, they don't like it, whatever, which is fine. And I was respectful, but I said to everybody, you have to embrace it. It's not going anywhere. Just like you have to embrace the internet, just like you have to embrace social media and these changes. But people generally don't like change. And sometimes you just need to just take a little step. And maybe that step is just getting the book and just, you know what, actually, I didn't know it was like that. Because there's nowhere else for you guys to go. So now you have that, and it's not extortionate. Quarter of, the book's a quarter of a price of your lesson, give or take. So I think we can,
Yeah.
say that, I'm not
Well,
ripping everybody off.
it's
Not,
the number of people said I'm never going to have a car with ABS, and then I'm never going to have a car with a automatic handbrake. It's just the same thing. So
yeah,
yeah, we'll wait and see what comes next.
that's right. Fantastic. All right, Chris, thanks very much.
Cheers.
And we'll catch up soon. Thanks, buddy. Have a good day.